Okay, yeah, welcome to Fayetteville, and just excited to be playing. What a great matchup this should be, and I think after tomorrow morning the weather's supposed to be great, so it should be an exciting weekend.
For Charles or Cam, I'm just curious from a hitter's perspective, when y'all faced these arms, just a few weeks ago, does that help at all? Some familiarity there?
Yeah, I think so. You can go back and look at your previous at-bats, just find the arm slot, see where they stand on the mound, all that good stuff. It's just you've done it before, so it already brings a comfort level.
Yeah, I mean, good arms, power arms. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, just to flip that around, having faced these guys just a few weeks ago, does that help at all from a pitcher's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, you faced the lineup before, and you can see what they got you on or what you got them on, so it definitely helps a little bit.
Yeah, Gabe, we haven't talked to you in a little bit. I mean, how would you just kind of describe your move into the bullpen this season recently?
Yeah, it's been good. It's the same mindset, just going out there and competing and filling up the strike zone and just being on the attack, so it's been good.
And what was Sunday night like?
It was fun, yeah. That was a good game, and it was fun to come in after Gage and finish that game off, and send us to the next weekend.
For all three of you, for anyone, I mean, 2 ESPN games, some pretty good time slots on the TV schedule. Can you guys feel maybe the gravity and the magnitude of this series that you guys are about to play?
I mean, it's just another game in that perspective. I mean, that's kind of what we've done all season. The times are kind of weird for us. I don't know if we really play at those time slots. We usually play at night or earlier in the day, but it's going to be a fun weekend regardless.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I feel like that's been all the SEC, series, so it's going to be fun, good team. But no, I think that's the first time we've heard about that, so it doesn't matter.
The pitching staff was outstanding last week, and it feels like you guys have been kind of building to the postseason, wanting to be pitching your best. Do you feel like as a staff you guys are pitching your best right now at the end of the year?
Yeah, I'd say so. You look at who we gained throughout the season, and we just got Gage back, and he's getting ramped up, and then we got Parker back. So, I feel like we got stronger as the year went on, and throwing the ball really well right now, and hopefully carry it into this weekend.
Cam, I guess one off the field one real quick. I guess just the whole team's kind of, maybe galvanized around your fishing hobby, which I guess you're maybe spearheading. Just is that maybe surprised you, or have you ever had that in the past where it feels like the whole team's kind of galvanized around that?
I mean, it's fun. Yesterday there were about 10 or 12 of us out at a lake south of town, and we were just fishing and playing music and just kind of being boys, having a good time together. It brings the team together, and I think that's what you need in the postseason. You need everyone to come together and like each other and get along, and so it's been a fun adventure in that way. A lot of guys have come a long way in their fishing adventure. Some guys have gotten a lot better than others. Some are still learning, but Brent's gotten really good, and V is unbelievable. He's patient. He's a patient fisherman, but Kuhio, if he feels anything on the end of the line, he just sets the hook about as hard as he swings the bat. No, it's been really fun, and it's fun to do that with the guys.
I guess, Charles, had you fished before?
No. First time, not the best fisher, so lost my bait this morning. I guess I didn't put the hook on right, but yeah, I lost my bait this morning. I wasn't too happy about that one, but Cam's great. He's been helping us.
I guess one quick baseball one, Chuck, you in the leadoff spot, it seemed like you drew a lot of walks, got on base in the regional. Is that something that, with all the power behind you and in both of these lineups that you continue to have to do for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to. I got to get on base for the big hitters behind me. And if they're just going to try to pitch around me, which I don't think it's a good decision, they're going to have to face V a couple more times. So that's kind of my role.
Hey, Gabe, obviously we expect a raucous environment this weekend. What's it like, though, in front of these fans?
Yeah, it's special. Best fans in the country, and it's nice to have, 12, 13,000 rooting for you. So super grateful to play in front of these crowds, and it's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, just for Cam, for any of you guys, what does a team
activity hobby like fishing, do you think that kind of helps with like the waiting in between weeks? Just, you know, at the regional it's all go and then you're off and then all go again tomorrow. Is that something you think that helps?
Yeah, obviously we're not in school right now, so obviously going out during the day, not just sitting on your couch all day, helps. Can also help the mind. You're not always so tense and focused on baseball. Maybe you get away from the game a little bit, and that helps some guys. But you gotta take care of your body. You can't be out in the sun all day. Like that's just not good for anybody. So you just gotta take care of your body and your mind, and it's fun for the team.
Yeah, Gabe, you've known Ryder for a long time. You guys go back to days in California. What's it like seeing him have this postseason success and the run he's been on the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I wouldn't say I'm surprised because I knew how good of a player he was since 8th grade, and so to watch him have the success he's having is it's awesome. And best catcher in the country. So.
For you, kind of the flip question of Charles, you're the one hitting behind, all the power guys. What's it like, getting to come up and be in some of these big spots where you've got to get the clutch hit every now and then, and knowing that you've got these guys in front of you that have been hitting really well?
Yeah, it's fun when guys are on base. You're excited driving runs. You never want to be a timid hitter. Got to be smart, but it's fun to drive in runs. It's fun to have that big hit and just have a consistent mindset.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right. Hey, Dave, I think you talked last week before the regional about just drowning out the noise. There's been a lot of noise this week, and obviously, like, ticket demands are high. I mean, how much did you talk to your team about getting stuff like that out of the way early where they can just focus as the week's going on?
Yeah, talked a lot about it last week, and then, after the game, we talked about it as a staff, and then we talked about it with the team. Each practice, maybe just a little bit, maybe and mention it again today. Make sure you got everything taken care of so you can sleep good and you're not worrying about this or that, and just focusing on the game and not what people are saying.
When you guys hosted South Carolina and Ole Miss here in Super Regionals, you had played them a lot earlier in the year. Does this feel different that it's such a quick turnaround?
It feels a little different because we just played in the last series of the regular season, but it's just a weekend. It comes down to one weekend. That's the way we look at it, and we just got to take care of our business.
Dave, have you settled on your rotation for this weekend?
Well, we're going to go with Root tomorrow.
And then I wanted to ask you about Luke Bonfield is coming back with Tennessee as well. I'm just curious what you remember about him as a player, and did you kind of get a sense that when he was done playing, he might get into coaching?
Yeah, as a player, Luke broke his ankle in the fall of his freshman year. It really slowed him up. Good hitter. I think the ankle bothered him for a while, became a better position player later. But he just always seemed to be in the middle of it with us offensively. He was a guy, too, that later in his career he was talking about coaching and wanting to coach. So felt like he was going to stay in it.
What would be the plan for Gage?
Whatever we need to do with him, Which Gage? Okay, just double checking. So we have, as of now, he's going to be a starter, but you just never know when you get to these series like this how you're going to do it.
How nice is it to play, tomorrow to potentially Monday, just for Zach and Gage to get that extra day of rest, full day rest?
Yeah, that's fine with us. We didn't care either way, but it's probably a good thing, probably for both teams, honestly.
What's it like, I guess, playing in a regional setting, 3 teams that you hadn't played before, and then you're right back to game planning for a common opponent 3 weeks later?
Yeah, you don't have to game plan as much. You kind of know what they're all about. I've been following them and played them and saw them play a game in the tournament. So, you might change a couple things up, but you don't have to just dissect the whole thing because we've already done that.
Tennessee, Phillips is a guy who threw 20 pickoffs. Are you going to be looking to be more aggressive on the base pass this time around?
Our thing is we're just going to do what we need to do and let the game kind of tell us what to do. And their catchers throw good. They have good arms. So, we don't want to run ourselves out of innings. But, we'll do what we need to do at that time, depending on the score or, what we've been seeing.
You guys got to Doyle pretty good when he came in here, and then he had bounced back in the regional. 2 great outings when he was out there. Did you see anything? What did you notice from his performance last weekend in the regional?
It was pretty gutsy on his part. I thought he just he wanted the ball, wanted to help his team win, and he threw really good 2 or 3 days before that. He's a really good pitcher. He's won a lot of games, lead the country in strikeouts, and we'll worry about him when we get to him.
Same question I asked for Gabe, kind of about the pitching staff maybe peaking at the end of the year. How pleased are you with just the process from start to now and your kind of management of the staff to get here and feel pretty confident about the way the guys are looking now?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked throughout the season. We talked about it in the fall that we've got to try to keep our guys obviously healthy and, not wear them out when it comes the end of the season, because that's the most important part. I think for the most part we've done a pretty good job with it. We have some depth in the bullpen, so we've been able to spread it out. I think we really overpitched our pitchers, like on the weekends, as far as pitch counts, especially early. We'd always tell them we're saving that inning for later. They always felt I could go one more. If I got 80 pitches, I can go to 100. And, hopefully it'll help.
These 2 teams, 1-2 left in the Super Regional in terms of power, and then 2 day games. Is that something that you mentioned that the ball might carry, and it's a more offensive-minded series?
Well, right now it's really all about the wind when you're talking about the ball carrying, and the wind's going to blow out. It's blown in all week with all this heat and the southwest winds, and now you're going to change over to west or northwest or whatever, and it's going to be jumpy. So it is what it is.
Coach, the guys joked about fishing. They sure do seem to love being around each other. How special of a group has this been for you?
It's been really good. We noticed it in the fall, and you always discuss it with your team, especially in the with all that goes on in the off season with the portal and that, and new guys, and a lot of guys drafted, and guys coming in that weren't here, and somehow, some way, we gotta get you guys to kind of gel and like each other and care about each other, and I think that some of the guys, took that to heart a little bit and probably led there, but I think genuinely they just like each other, and they like to be around each other, and they like to hang out here. We're very fortunate to have the hunt facility there, and it's great for working and getting better, recruiting, but it's also like a fraternity. They're hanging out and they get to know each other, and they become good friends in there. I really believe that.
I guess the portal is open and there's movement for both teams already. I guess is that something you'd like to see change, or how are you kind of handling having to do a super?
I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. I've been thinking about trying to beat Tennessee or figure out a way to beat them. Obviously, we're doing what we need to do, and we've contacted people. We have visits set up, and so is Tennessee. I mean, there's been things posted about people they've already got commitments from. So it's just the way it is. I don't know if you move it back. I don't know if that helps. Then it's closer to the time that the draft's getting here, and I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer. Now, I would like to get the draft moved up to like now instead of being in July, and I'll get off my soapbox about nobody's too concerned about having the draft during the All-Star game. Like it's a big fun event. Whoopee, let's just draft these guys and let them relax a little bit, and let's let coaches know who's going to be back and who's not, so we can figure out who to put on our roster or who's still going to be here. But that's how I feel.
Coach, last week the lineup averaging 8 or so runs a game. What have you liked about their approach from 1 to 9 for all the guys?
Yeah, last weekend we had a great approach. Up and down the lineup, it just like it's not like you get through 6 hitters and then it falls apart, and we can't wait to get back to the top. The end of the lineup did a great job for us, middle, top. It might not be every time or every inning, but there's always a chance. They've all done their part and they've all helped out. I've liked the consistency of that, and that we played the other game too. Play a little small ball here and there, and been able to run a little bit here and there. We don't just sit around and hit 3-run homers, and those are nice. But sometimes the weather is not in your favor for that, and you got to be able to do some other things. And I think we've been able to.
You're not missing much during batting practice, watching people catch the ball and hit it. Are you still mulling lineups? You see a guy like Frazier pound the ball around the park. Do you ever get influenced by that, even this late?
Not for starting at this time. I mean, we don't have guys that I'm flip-flopping on, so to speak. I stand out there because I like to watch the swings from out there. I like to work with the base runners and talk to them at second base and third base. But I do really watch BP, and there's been times. I mean, when we played at Florida State, I think in 2009, when I, out of the blue, put Andrew Dar in the lineup because all he did in BP in the last group was hitting line drives and hit it hard. In the last game, he was hitting in the 9-hole, and he got the double that walked him off the field as our DH, and he also went 5 for 5 that game, But he had kind of earned that through just what he had done with his batting practice. I think I hit him a little bit in the regional as well, but we don't have that issue. Our lineup's been pretty set, and we're not platooning a DH or a position players. We've just been going with who's been doing it, because we've got left-handers hitters that hit lefties fine, and vice versa. So we just let it go.
There may not be a right answer to this. In your experience, though, when teams meet each other for a second time in the season, do you see offense or pitching having an upper hand based on what happened the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it could be either way, but I think bottom line, it's what your players do, or your hitters locked in, swinging at strikes, pitchers throwing strikes and doing what they do. I think it gives coaching staffs an opportunity to maybe see more of what might get them out or what won't. And then we got to use it. But really, it comes down to the players. They just got to do what they do.
Zach got through 3 innings quickly against them the first time and then ran into trouble in the fourth. What did you see during that inning, and have you seen improvements in whatever went wrong in the last couple of outings?
Yeah. Well, that last outing was amazing. But that game, and then I think you're probably talking about the tournament, just didn't locate it. And, the second time through the lineup, they got him a little bit. But I think it was more about his location than anything. And he didn't have a really good breaking ball that day. And he's been having that lately. So, hey, you never know. You never know how it's going to go. That's why you play. But, it's a really good lineup that he has to try to maneuver through. And it's a good mix of left and right-handed hitters, power guys that'll fight you. A couple guys can run. So, every pitch is important.
You've coached with and against Tony kind of for a long time now. Just what is he like as a competitor, and just is there anything different that comes to meeting at the postseason at this stage?
To me, the game's the game. Whether you're in season, it was very important that we needed to win that series big time a few weeks ago. I think they felt the same way. As far as competing, he's really a big-time competitor. He likes to compete at everything he does, and whether it's shooting baskets, free throw, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's competing, and he grew up that way. His dad's a high school coach, and he was always, as a young kid, always with his dad's teams, and all the way to JUCO to Missouri playing, and then in his coaching career, he's very competitive on the recruiting trail and everything else. So that's what it takes to have success at this level.
Dave, we talked about it after the regular season series against Tennessee, where y'all did a really good job of handling, all the delay tactics and things they do and just sticking to what y'all do. Does it help having gone through it just a few weeks ago, like having that experience, this time around, even if it's on a bigger stage?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's any different than some other teams. And I mean, it doesn't really stand out to me that there's a lot of delay things going on. I think what I just tell our teams every weekend is just do what we can do. Don't get distracted. Don't let the other stuff get in your way of being focused on your bat or your pitch or making a play. And easier said than done, but I don't have any problem with anything.
And I don't think it's resulted in a bunch of hits, but it feels like Iredale's been putting on a lot better swings lately, last weekend especially. Just what are you seeing from him? Do you think he's maybe close to turning a corner there?
Yeah, I mean, I do. You never know how it's going to go, like I've said a couple times, but I mean, his bats seem to be better. He's taking his walks. He's still getting hit by pitches. His on-base percentage is up there. He's been so close on some pitches where he flew out to the fence, thinking he just missed it. You just need him to get one of those and at a big time. But yeah, we feel like he's swinging the bat a lot better than he did maybe 2 weeks ago.
And one more about him. You mentioned all the hit by pitches. What makes him prone to all those?
They're pitching him in a lot, trying to finish him in, sliders away, fastballs in. And, they miss a little bit to, towards right-handers to the arm side. They hit him, or if they leave it out over the plate, you got a better chance of hitting it. But that's what I see, and that's kind of what they try to do with him.
I know you want to get guys innings and reps, but can there be a benefit at this stage of the season? Maybe, Fouch, Gibbler, some guys that haven't pitched much the last 2 weekends, or they've got to be fresh here for this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little of both. But the guys you mentioned, they threw an inning to some of our hitters. When I say an inning, they went out and the other day, today's Friday, maybe Wednesday, and after 15 pitches, or we told them, hey, go get 2 hitters out if it takes 5 pitches or whatever, and so they got loose, came on the field and did it. So try to simulate a little bit. And then we also get some of our guys that hadn't had some at-bats in a while, an opportunity to hit some live pitching.
Any more questions for Coach? Coach, appreciate you. See you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.